You know that moment when someone you're supposed to trust completely shatters your world with just 2 words? That happened to me at what was supposed to be the happiest family gathering of the year. My sister Elena looked my precious 5-year-old daughter Kelly right in the eyes, in front of everyone we loved, and called her a stinky pig. I'm Janet, and this is the story of how one cruel moment at a family celebration turned into the most important lesson about boundaries, self-worth, and what family really means. Before I dive into this story, if you've ever dealt with toxic family members or struggled to protect your children from hurtful relatives, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Your support means everything, and I promise to share exactly how we got through this. Drop a comment below if you've been through something similar. I read every single one, and we're building a community here where we support each other through these tough family situations. It was my daughter Kelly's 5th birthday party. We'd been planning it for months, a beautiful garden celebration at my parents' house with all our closest family and friends. Kelly had been talking about nothing else for weeks. She wanted a princess theme, and my husband William and I went all out. There were pink and purple decorations everywhere, a gorgeous cake shaped like a castle, and Kelly wore the most beautiful sparkly pink dress she'd picked out herself. Kelly has always been a sensitive, sweet child. She's the kind of kid who cries when she sees a sad commercial and brings home every injured leaf she finds because she wants to make it better. She's pure-hearted, imaginative, and sees magic in everything. As her mother, watching her experience the world with such wonder has been the greatest gift of my life. My sister Elena is complicated. She's 32, 3 years younger than me, and has always struggled with what I can only describe as jealousy issues. When I got engaged to William, she made several comments about how my ring was too flashy. When we bought our house, she told our mom it was pretentious for our income level. When I got pregnant with Kelly, she went silent for 2 months. But I always tried to excuse it. Family is family, right? Elena had her struggles. She'd gone through a difficult breakup with her ex-boyfriend Kyle a few years back, and her career as a graphic designer hadn't taken off the way she'd hoped. I told myself she was just going through a hard time and that underneath it all, she loved us. I was so wrong. The party was going beautifully. Kelly was absolutely glowing, running around in her princess dress, showing everyone her new toys. My brother Andrew was there with his wife Bonnie and their kids Coleman and Emerald. My parents were beaming, taking hundreds of photos. My best friend Mike had come with his partner Erickson, bearing an enormous gift that Kelly could barely contain her excitement about. William was manning the grill, making his famous burgers that everyone always raved about. The weather was perfect, sunny but not too hot, with a gentle breeze that made the streamers dance. Kids were playing games on the lawn, adults were chatting and laughing, and I remember thinking, this is it. This is what happiness looks like. Elena had arrived about 20 minutes after everyone else, which wasn't unusual. She'd brought a small gift, a generic stuffed animal still in the drugstore bag, and given Kelly a quick hug before heading straight to the drinks table. I noticed she'd already had 2 glasses of wine before we'd even sung happy birthday, but I didn't think much of it. It was a party, after all. Looking back, I should have seen the signs. She was standing apart from everyone else, scrolling on her phone, barely engaging. When my mom tried to include her in conversation, she gave one-word answers. When the kids invited her to play with them, she waved them off. But I was busy being a host, being a mom, trying to make sure everyone was having a good time and that Kelly's special day was everything she dreamed of. It happened right after we'd finished singing Happy Birthday. Kelly had just blown out her candles. She'd made a wish that she refused to tell anyone because then it won't come true, Mommy, and we were about to cut the cake. Kelly was so excited she could barely stand still. She was bouncing on her toes, her dress twirling around her, and in her excitement, she accidentally bumped into the table. It wasn't a hard bump, barely a jostle, but it was enough to shift the cake slightly on its stand. Elena, who'd been standing nearby with what I now realize was probably her fourth glass of wine, turned to Kelly and said, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear, "Watch it, stinky pig. You're going to ruin everything like you always do." The words hung in the air like poison. Everything seemed to move in slow motion. I saw Kelly's face, her bright, joyful expression crumbling like a sandcastle hit by a wave. Her big brown eyes filled with tears instantly. Her bottom lip started trembling. She looked at Elena, then at me, and I saw something in my daughter's eyes I'd never seen before: shame. My 5-year-old baby girl felt shame for the first time in her life, and it was because of my sister. "Elena, what did you just say?" My voice came out barely above a whisper. I couldn't believe what I'd heard. Around us, conversations had stopped. People were staring. Elena shrugged, taking another sip of her wine. "I said she's being clumsy. If that cake gets ruined because she can't watch where she's going, we're all going to be disappointed." "You called her a stinky pig." William had appeared at my side, and I could hear the controlled anger in his voice. "You called our daughter a stinky pig on her birthday." "Oh, come on, it's just a joke. Don't be so sensitive." Elena rolled her eyes. "Kids need to learn to take a joke." Kelly let out a sob and ran. Just bolted across the lawn toward the house. I started to go after her, but William put his hand on my arm. "I'll get her," he said quietly. "You handle this." I turned back to Elena, and I don't think I've ever felt such a combination of rage and heartbreak in my life. A joke? I could feel everyone watching us now. The party had gone completely silent. You think calling a 5-year-old child a stinky pig on her birthday is a joke? Oh my God, Janet, you're being so dramatic. I was just teasing. You always make everything such a big deal. Elena was using that dismissive tone she always used when she was caught doing something wrong. That tone that suggested I was the problem for being upset, not her for causing the upset. My mom stepped forward. "Elena, honey, that was inappropriate. You should apologize to Kelly." "I'm not apologizing for a joke. Maybe if you didn't spoil her so much, she wouldn't fall apart over every little thing." Elena's voice was getting louder, more defensive. Something inside me snapped. "Get out." Elena blinked at me. "What?" "Get out of this party. Get out of this house. Get out now." My voice was shaking, but it was strong. Clear. "You can't kick me out of Mom and Dad's house." "Yes, I can." I stepped closer to her. "This is my daughter's party. I organized it, I paid for it, and I will not have you here after what you just did. Leave. Now." "Mom." Elena turned to our mother, expecting support. But my mom, bless her, shook her head. "Elena, I think you should go. We can talk about this later, but right now, you need to leave." I need to pause here for just a moment because what happened next changed everything. If you're watching this and you've ever struggled with setting boundaries with toxic family members, please hit that like button. It tells me you're here, that you understand how hard these moments are. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We're going to talk about what happened after this confrontation, how we helped Kelly heal, and how our family completely changed. Trust me, you'll want to see how this story ends. Elena left, but not before making a scene. She called me controlling, said I was turning everyone against her, and accused me of being a terrible sister who'd always been jealous of her. The irony wasn't lost on anyone there. After she was gone, I went to find Kelly. William was with her in her bedroom, holding her while she cried into his shoulder. The sight of my little girl's tear-streaked face, her beautiful party dress wrinkled from being curled up in William's lap, broke something in me. Baby girl, I sat down next to them on the bed. Look at me, sweetheart. Kelly lifted her head, her eyes red and swollen. Am I stinky, Mommy? My heart shattered into a million pieces. No, baby. No, no, no. I pulled her into my arms. You are not stinky. You are perfect and beautiful and kind and wonderful. What Aunt Elena said was wrong. It was very, very wrong, and it had nothing to do with you. Then why did she say it? Kelly's voice was so small. How do you explain adult cruelty to a 5-year-old? How do you tell your child that sometimes people who are supposed to love us hurt us because they're hurting inside? Sometimes, grown-ups say mean things when they're feeling bad about themselves, William said gently. It doesn't make it okay, and it doesn't make it true. But it has nothing to do with you, princess. Nothing at all. We stayed with her for a long time, holding her, reassuring her, trying to repair the damage that had been done with just 2 words. Eventually, my mom came upstairs and knocked softly on the door. Can I come in? She asked. Kelly nodded, and my mom sat on the bed with us. Kelly, sweetheart, I am so sorry about what happened. What Aunt Elena said was wrong and hurtful, and you didn't deserve that. Not today, not ever. Grandma, am I a pig? Kelly asked, and I watched my mom's face crumple. Oh, my darling girl. You are my beautiful, smart, kind, wonderful granddaughter. You are not a pig. You are not stinky. You are absolutely perfect exactly as you are. My mom was crying now too. And we should have protected you better. I should have stepped in sooner. After about 30 minutes, Kelly asked if we could go back to the party. Everyone came for my birthday, she said quietly. I don't want to make them sad. Even at 5 years old, even after being hurt so badly, my daughter was thinking about other people. It made me love her even more and made me even more determined to protect her. We went back downstairs, and I'll never forget what happened next. My brother Andrew had clearly talked to all the kids because when Kelly appeared, little Coleman, who was 7, walked right up to her and said, Kelly, you're not stinky. You smell like strawberries and you're my favorite cousin. Then 6-year-old Emerald added, and you're not a pig. You're a princess. A real one. All the other kids at the party chimed in with compliments and kindness. It was spontaneous and pure and exactly what Kelly needed. I saw her shoulders relax a little, saw a small smile return to her face. The adults rallied too. Mike started an enthusiastic game of musical chairs. Erickson did magic tricks that had all the kids screaming with laughter. Bonnie organized a treasure hunt she'd apparently prepared as a backup activity. Everyone worked together to salvage the party and, more importantly, to show Kelly that she was loved and valued. By the time we cut the cake, Kelly was smiling again. It wasn't the carefree joy from earlier in the day, there was a new wariness in her eyes that broke my heart, but she was smiling. We sang happy birthday again, and this time when she blew out her candles, she whispered her wish out loud, I wish everyone could be nice. 5 years old, and already learning that not everyone would be. That night, after Kelly was asleep, William and I sat in our living room and talked for hours. We talked about Elena, about the pattern of behavior we'd both noticed but excused for years. We talked about boundaries and what it meant to protect our daughter. We talked about family and what that word really meant. I don't think Elena can be around Kelly anymore, William said finally. Not until she gets help and genuinely changes. I knew he was right, but it was hard to say out loud. She's my sister. And Kelly is our daughter. Our first responsibility is to her, not to preserving a relationship with someone who would hurt her. The next day, Elena sent me a text. "Are you still mad about yesterday? You really overreacted. No apology. No acknowledgement of what she'd done. Just deflection and blame." I wrote back, "What you said to Kelly was cruel and unacceptable. Until you can genuinely apologize to her and get help for whatever is making you act this way, you won't be welcome around our family." Her response was immediate and hostile. A long paragraph about how I'd always thought I was better than her, how I was using Kelly as a weapon, how our whole family had always favored me. It was clear she'd been holding on to these feelings for years, letting them fester into something toxic. I didn't respond. Instead, I blocked her number. Over the next few weeks, we watched Kelly carefully. We talked to her pediatrician, who recommended a child psychologist who specialized in helping young kids process difficult experiences. Kelly had 3 sessions with Dr. Bartlett, a warm, kind woman who used play therapy to help Kelly work through what had happened. Dr. Bartlett told us that Kelly was resilient and that kids her age can usually bounce back from single incidents like this, especially with strong support from loving parents. But she also warned us to watch for signs of internalized shame or anxiety about her appearance or how others perceived her. We started doing daily affirmations with Kelly. Every morning and every night, we'd tell her 3 things we loved about her. Sometimes they were about her appearance. "You have the most beautiful smile. Your eyes sparkle when you laugh." But more often, they were about who she was as a person. "You're so kind to your friends. You're brave when you try new things. You make our family better just by being you." William started a tradition of daddy-daughter confidence time. Every Saturday morning, he'd take Kelly out for breakfast, just the 2 of them, and they'd talk about what made them feel good about themselves. She loved this special time with her dad, and I'd watch them leave together, Kelly holding William's hand and chattering away, and feel grateful for the man I'd married. I also started being more intentional about the media Kelly consumed. We watched movies and read books about strong, kind characters. We talked about how real beauty comes from how we treat people, not from how we look. We emphasized that worth isn't determined by other people's opinions. Slowly, surely, we watched Kelly's confidence rebuild. The wariness in her eyes faded. Her bright, joyful spirit returned. She started twirling in her dresses again, laughing without reservation, trusting in the goodness of the people around her. Meanwhile, the Elena situation had created a rift in our extended family. My parents were heartbroken, caught between their 2 daughters. My dad called me crying one night, saying he didn't know how to fix this. "Dad, you can't fix this," I told him gently. "Elena has to fix this. She has to acknowledge what she did, genuinely apologize, and work on whatever is causing her to act this way. Until then, I have to protect Kelly. You understand that, right?" "I do," he said. "I just wish things were different." "Me too, Dad." "Me too." My brother Andrew was completely supportive. "I don't blame you at all," he told me over coffee one afternoon. "If anyone said something like that to Coleman or Emerald, they'd be out of our lives so fast. Family doesn't mean accepting abuse." Bonnie agreed. "We've actually been limiting the kids' contact with Elena for a while now. She's said some pretty harsh things to them too, just never quite this bad. We should have said something sooner." Hearing this validated my decision but also made me sad. How many people had Elena hurt? How long had this been going on? My mom struggled the most. She wanted everyone to just work it out and move past it. She kept suggesting family therapy, mediation, anything that would bring us back together. "Mom, I love you, but no," I said firmly one day when she brought it up again. "Elena hasn't even apologized. She hasn't acknowledged that what she did was wrong. She's blamed me, blamed Kelly, blamed everyone but herself. Until that changes, there's nothing to mediate. I'm not going to force Kelly to be around someone who called her a stinky pig and hasn't shown any remorse. It was hard setting this boundary with my mom, but it was necessary. And eventually, she came to understand. We're getting close to the resolution of this story, and I promise it ends in a place of healing and hope. But before I share what happened next, I want to ask you to do something. If this story has resonated with you, if you've learned something about boundaries or protecting your children or standing up to toxic family members, please share this video. There are so many parents out there who need to hear that it's okay to protect their kids, even from family. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell. We're building a community here of people who support each other through difficult family situations, and I'd love for you to be part of it. Now, let me tell you what happened 6 months after Kelly's birthday party. 6 months after the incident, Kelly was thriving. She'd started kindergarten and was doing wonderfully, making friends, loving learning, coming home every day with stories and artwork and excitement about the world. The shadow that had crossed her face that day at her birthday party was gone. She was resilient, joyful, and confident. William and I had settled into our new normal. We saw my parents regularly, usually at our house or at neutral locations. We had dinners with Andrew and Bonnie and their kids. Our family unit felt strong and healthy, even if it looked different than it had before. Elena had tried to reach out a few times through my mom, but the messages were always the same, defensive, lacking any real accountability. I'd hold firm to my boundaries, and eventually, the attempts stopped. Then one Tuesday evening, my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, so I looked through the peephole and was shocked to see Elena standing on my front porch. She looked different, thinner, tired, like she hadn't been sleeping well. My first instinct was to not answer. But something made me open the door, though I didn't invite her in. "Hi," she said quietly. "Elena." I kept my voice neutral, my hand on the door, ready to close it if needed. "I know you probably don't want to see me. I know I don't deserve your time. But I need to talk to you. Please. Just 5 minutes." I considered it. Kelly was at a playdate at Coleman's house. William was working late. I could give her 5 minutes. "You can say what you need to say from there," I said, not moving from the doorway. Elena nodded. She looked down at her hands, then back up at me, and I saw tears in her eyes. "I've been in therapy," she said. "For the past 4 months. After what happened at Kelly's party, after you blocked me and set those boundaries, I kind of spiraled. I was so angry at first, so convinced that I was the victim in all of this. But then..." She paused, wiping at her eyes. "Then I had a really bad night. A really, really bad night. And I realized that everyone in my life was pulling away from me, and the common denominator was me. I listened, saying nothing. My therapist has been helping me understand that I've been carrying around this resentment for years. Jealousy, inadequacy, feeling like I was never good enough. And instead of dealing with those feelings, I was projecting them onto everyone else, especially you. Especially Kelly. Kelly is 5 years old, Elena." My voice was hard. "I know. God, Janet, I know. What I said to her was unforgivable. She's an innocent child, and I took out my own self-hatred on her, and I have spent every single day for the past 6 months wishing I could take it back." Elena was crying openly now. "I call the 5-year-old little girl a stinky pig on her birthday. What kind of person does that?" "A person who was hurting," I said carefully. "But that doesn't make it okay." "I know it doesn't. Nothing makes it okay. Nothing will ever make it okay." She took a shaky breath. I'm not here to ask for forgiveness or to be let back into your life. I know I don't deserve that. I'm here because my therapist said I needed to take accountability, face to face, without making it about me or my feelings. So I'm here to tell you, what I did was wrong. It was cruel. It was abusive. And you were right to protect Kelly from me. You were right to set those boundaries. You're a good mother, Janet. You've always been a good mother. And I'm sorry I made you feel like you had to choose between your sister and your daughter. That should never have happened. I felt my own eyes welling up with tears. This was what I needed to hear, what Kelly had deserved all along. I'm also here to ask if someday, when you feel ready, I could apologize to Kelly. Face to face. With you there, obviously. I don't expect her to forgive me, she probably won't even remember me, but I need her to know that what I said had nothing to do with her and everything to do with me being a broken person who said something awful. She remembers you, I said quietly. She asked about you a few months ago. Asked why Aunt Elena didn't come to family dinners anymore. Elena's face crumpled. What did you tell her? I told her that sometimes adults make mistakes and need time to work on themselves before they can be around the people they love. I told her it wasn't her fault. Thank you, Elena whispered. Thank you for protecting her, even from me. We stood there in silence for a moment. Then I made a decision. I need to talk to William, I said. And I need to prepare Kelly. And you need to understand that this doesn't mean everything goes back to the way it was. You hurt my child. That's not something that just gets erased. I know. But if you're serious about therapy, if you're really doing the work to change, then maybe, eventually, we can work toward you apologizing to Kelly. That doesn't mean you'll be at every family dinner or birthday party. It doesn't mean we'll be close again. But it means I'm willing to see if healing is possible. Elena nodded, tears streaming down her face. That's more than I deserve. Thank you, Janet. Thank you. 2 weeks later, after many conversations with William, with Dr. Bartlett, and age-appropriately with Kelly, we arranged for Elena to come over and apologize to her daughter. We prepared Kelly carefully. We explained that Aunt Elena wanted to say she was sorry for the mean things she'd said. We told Kelly that she didn't have to forgive Elena, that she was allowed to feel however she felt, and that we'd be right there with her the whole time. Kelly, in her infinite childhood wisdom, asked, "Did Aunt Elena learn to be nicer?" "She's trying to," I told her honestly. "And that's why she wants to apologize, because she knows what she said was wrong." "Okay," Kelly said simply. "People should say sorry when they're wrong." Out of the mouths of babes. When Elena arrived, she brought a gift, a beautiful children's book about self-worth and kindness. She sat down on our living room floor, at Kelly's level, with William and me watching from the couch. "Hi, Kelly," Elena said softly. "Thank you for letting me come talk to you." Kelly looked at her solemnly. "Hi, Aunt Elena." "Kelly, I need to tell you something important. At your birthday party, I said something very mean to you. I called you a stinky pig, and that was wrong. It was very, very wrong." Elena's voice was shaking. "You are not stinky, and you are not a pig. You are a beautiful, kind, smart little girl, and what I said had nothing to do with you. I said it because I was feeling bad about myself, and I took those bad feelings out on you. That was wrong of me, and I'm so sorry." Kelly was quiet for a moment, processing. Then she said, "It made me sad." "I know it did, sweetie. And I'm sorry I made you sad. You didn't deserve that." "My mommy and daddy said people say mean things when they feel bad inside," Kelly said. Do you still feel bad inside? Elena smiled sadly. Sometimes. But I'm working on feeling better. I'm talking to a doctor who helps people with their feelings, and she's helping me learn to be kinder. That's good, Kelly said. Being kind is important. It is. You're very smart to know that. Elena held out the book. I brought you this. It's a story about a little girl who learns that she's special just the way she is. I thought you might like it. Kelly took the book and looked at it carefully, then looked back at Elena. Thank you for saying sorry, she said. Then, in that unpredictable way that children have, she added, do you want to see my new dollhouse? I saw Elena's face transform, hope and gratitude and disbelief all at once. I would love to see your dollhouse, she said. And just like that, Kelly took her hand and led her upstairs. That was 8 months ago. Elena continues in therapy. She's been diagnosed with depression and anxiety, which she's treating with medication and continued counseling. She's been working on her career and has actually started to find some success with her design work. Our relationship is different now. We're not as close as we were before, honestly, we may never be. But we're building something new, something based on honesty and healthy boundaries rather than just shared history and family obligation. Elena sees Kelly about once a month, always at our house or in public places, and always with William or me present. She's gentle with Kelly, mindful of her words, and genuinely trying to build a positive relationship with her niece. Kelly seems to have forgiven her in the way that children do, not with a conscious decision to let go of hurt, but by simply not holding on to it in the first place. At our last family dinner, Kelly asked Elena to sit next to her. I watched them together, Elena carefully helping Kelly cut her chicken, Kelly chattering about her kindergarten class, and I felt something I didn't expect, hope. Not hope that everything would go back to the way it was. That ship had sailed, and honestly, the way it was wasn't as healthy as I'd thought. But hope that people can change. Hope that boundaries can lead to healing. Hope that protecting our children doesn't mean giving up on family, but rather redefining what family means. Looking back on that awful day at Kelly's 5th birthday party, I realize it was a turning point for our entire family. It forced us to confront patterns of behavior we'd been ignoring. It made us define our values and stand by them. It showed Kelly that her parents would always protect her, even when it was hard. But it also showed her something else, that people can grow and change. That apologies matter. That taking responsibility for our mistakes is how we become better people. Kelly is 6 now, thriving in 1st grade, and still the same sweet, sensitive, joyful child she's always been. But she's also learned some important lessons about boundaries and self-worth. When a classmate said something mean to her a few months ago, she came home and told us, I told him that wasn't kind, and I walked away. Because I know I'm a good person, and his mean words don't change that. I can't help but think that she learned that strength through the trial we all went through. Pain has a way of teaching us what nothing else can, and while I wish Kelly had never been hurt, I'm proud of the strong, confident child she's becoming. As for me, I've learned that being a mother means making hard choices. It means sometimes choosing your child's well-being over your own comfort or your desire for family harmony. It means setting boundaries even when it's painful. It means standing firm in your values even when others tell you you're overreacting. And I've learned that you can love someone and still not allow them in your life. You can hope for their healing while protecting yourself and your children from their harm. You can extend grace and second chances without erasing consequences. Family is complicated. Love is messy. But at the end of the day, my job is to protect my daughter and help her grow into a strong, kind, confident woman who knows her worth. And I'll do whatever it takes to fulfill that job, even if it means disappointing people I love or making decisions that others don't understand. Because Kelly deserves parents who will stand up for her. Who will believe her. who will protect her, and who will show her, through their actions, that she is valuable and loved and worth defending. That's what happened when my sister called my daughter a stinky pig at her 5th birthday party. It was awful. It was painful. It changed our family forever. But in the end, it made us stronger. Thank you so much for watching this story. If it resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more honest conversations about family, parenting, and navigating difficult relationships. Drop a comment below sharing your own experiences with setting boundaries or protecting your children from toxic family members. I read every comment, and this community has been such a source of support and wisdom for me. We're all in this together, learning and growing and trying to do our best for our kids. And remember, protecting your children isn't selfish. Setting boundaries isn't cruel. Standing up for what's right isn't overreacting. You are allowed to demand that people treat your children with respect, even if those people are family. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being part of this community. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourselves and your families.